Hello and welcome to Clone Wars Conversations. I'm your host, James Arnold Taylor. This is the second half of my two-part interview with the amazingly talented Phil LaMarr. Voicing everything from Samurai Jack to Hermes in Futurama, Green Lantern, Aquaman, so many more. We talk about that as well as a very special new project that Phil is working on and starting a Kickstarter program where you can actually get involved in helping make it happen. So check that out, as well as a reimagining of a scene from Pulp Fiction that Phil knows all too well, but with Master Kenobi and Bail Organa. Welcome to the conversation. What I love about you, Phil, is that you have managed the perfect blend of on-camera and voice. That's a really rare thing, that you are really successful in both and really recognized in both and really respected by your peers in both. I think that's,
thank you.
That's amazing.
No,
Do you see yourself as just a character actor? Or
yeah. And it's actually, I've got to get my head around, because people will come up to me and say, how did you get into voice acting? I'm like, I didn't. I am, but I'm not. I'm into acting.
Right.
And I got a bunch of voice jobs. Although, thinking about it, looking back on it now, I realize that there is a qualitative difference in the work that I've done for voice as opposed to on camera. I think I'm a better voice actor than I am an on-camera actor.
Wow. Well, I think you're great either way. Obviously, I'm going to say that, but I'm not just kissing up. And do you think it's because it's so much more concentrated? Yeah, when you get in to do a show, you're doing the show.
Right.
When you're doing it on camera, it's like, okay, now we got to check this and we got to do this. And the flow is always changing too. Right?
Definitely. And maybe it's happenstance, but there's something about the things that I've gotten the chance to do, on mic, are things that have popped more often than the things that I've gotten to do on camera.
Well, let's talk about that though for a second. I mean, again, on camera, everything from, Fresh Prince to Jake and the Fat Man, LA Law, Wings, Mad About You, Murphy Brown, Bernie Mac, all these shows of like classic.
Yeah, right. I mean, I've gotten to work with some amazing people.
Yeah.
Adam West, Carol Burnett, John Travolta in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Like George Carlin.
Yeah. Sam Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of that, do you think you'll ever write a book? You ever thought about that?
I don't think so.
It's not your style, right?
Well, no, because it's the way I've lived my life. I'm the guy who doesn't have stories.
Really? Yeah.
Because it's the same thing with it's like, you see three women and there's Farrah Fawcett and Kay Jackson. Guys go to Farrah Fawcett. I'm the guy who goes for Kay Jackson. I want the quiet thing. Yeah. Like if there's something wacky happening on set, I go the other way.
Yeah.
I have the story about like, I was on the other side of the room when that story you heard about happened. And nobody wants to read that book.
No, I think I would.
I've actually, in the last, few years, realized that about myself and decided to stop being the guy without the story.
Really?
Because normally I would have been like, oh, there's some amazing person that I've always wanted to talk to, but I'm not going to bother him.
Yeah, I tend to do that.
And I'm just like, you know what? I'm tired of having a story about when I didn't meet somebody. And it actually, the big time where I finally put it into action was at San Diego Comic-Con a few years back. I was down there doing press for an animated show, and we were in this press thing, and Harrison Ford came in.
Oh, wow.
With a full entourage.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, yeah, this is Harrison Ford. I'm like, I'm going to meet Harrison Ford. This is not going to be the story about how I didn't meet Harrison Ford.
Because I have that story.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I needed to have an angle. I knew I needed an angle. So 42 had just come out, which he was instrumental in getting made.
Right.
And I had taken my son to see it. My son was a baseball player.
Right.
And I thought, I'm not going to ask him about Star Wars at San Diego Comic-Con. He's getting more than enough of that.
Yes.
I asked him about 42.
Wow.
And he said, oh, it's like, hey, Mr. Ford, I just wanted to thank you for helping get 42 made. I just took my 10-year-old son to see it. He's like, oh, really? What's his name? And we got engaged about it because
That's great.
and I got to meet and talk to Harrison Ford.
That's go. See, yeah, because I was at it was one of the reunions of anniversaries of Empire Strikes Back. And we're all on the red carpet. Oh, which is great. This story, because I'm there and I'm signing a thing for a little kid.
Right.
And the little kid goes, "There's Ewan McGregor." And then, and everybody leaves. And I'm sitting there. I was like, the secondary Obi-Wan.
Right.
But I can do the voice. The voicemail, you won't get a voicemail from him. And Harrison Ford was there, and he was this close to me.
Really?
And I'm like, we're both doing press at the same time. It could have been very easy to just go, "Mr. Ford, how are you? Pleasure to meet you.
Right.
Thank you for your work."
And you decided, I'm not going to bother
I'm not going to bother him. And Peter Mayhew was right there, and Peter and I are great
Right.
friends. I could have said, "Peter, introduce me to Hank." No.
Nope.
No, we're not going to do it. Yeah.
See, stop it.
Okay.
Stop
Okay,
doing
I'm
that.
going to take advice from Phil LaMarr.
Somebody has to.
But, okay, what about this? What if I say Woody on Mr. T?
My very first job.
That was it, yeah.
My first professional gig. And it's weird because I did it during high school.
Wow.
We did the Mr. T cartoon for 3 summers. It was one of the few, cartoons back then. This is mid-'80s.
Yeah.
Where they were using real kids
Yeah.
for the kids' voices.
Yeah, which is always
So
great.
they recorded during the summer so they wouldn't have to get a studio teacher for us.
Wow.
And it was not good. We literally had a director who would direct us and go like, "And every line up. It gives it energy." Like, no matter what you're saying. "I'm sorry your dog died." Great! Moving on.
So your first work was voiceover, though, then?
Yeah.
So really your first love?
Yeah. Well, it was interesting because I didn't think of it as the start of my acting career or anything like that. Although it did get me my union card.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
So
great.
by the time I graduated college and came back to LA and decided to actually pursue acting, I at least had that in my pocket. So,
Wow.
I mean, in many ways, that was absolutely instrumental.
Did you take acting in school and such then, too? Or was this your goal, to be an actor?
It wasn't until after college.
Really?
Yeah, I graduated with a degree in English literature.
Oh, wow.
But I knew I enjoyed it. I'd been doing plays since junior high.
Sure.
But it was always the sideline.
Yeah.
But then you get to this point where it's like, well, now you have to decide on a main line.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Oh, boy.
It's like,
And so then you end up doing this. But I mean, there's so many things. And in voiceover, there's so many things from like Wild Thornberrys, Buzz Lightyear, Invader Zim. Hey Arnold, one of my favorite shows. I love Hey Arnold. Johnny Bravo, which I remember we did some episodes together.
Right.
King of the Hill. You were on King of the Hill quite a bit.
Yeah.
And Foster's, you were Wilt and Jackie. And
Jackie Cones, yeah.
Many other characters. Spectacular Spider-Man we did together, which I loved. That was one of the, you know the story there that's Stan Lee's favorite version
Really?
of Spider-Man?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, it's funny because I always clump Spectacular Spider-Man and Clone Wars together in my mind as really cool, really good shows made by really creative people that got killed by billionaire corporate mergers.
Yeah, we just were the unfortunate victims in the...
Right, it's like, well, no, we need one that's ours.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, and that show should have gone 4 or 5 seasons. And I know the fans watching it. Joe Hogan, who does the art for this show, is a huge fan of that. So we always talk about it. It was such a great show. And you remember the first pilot?
Oh my gosh,
sitting at that
group?
table read?
What a group of people, man.
I mean, it was Clancy Brown was there.
I think, wasn't Keith David there too?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We had Gray was there. Vanessa. I mean, we had all of our group, and then we had all these wonderful actors. Robert Englund.
Yes, that's right.
Alan Raikin from LA Law, who played my father, and you played your son and your father. That's how talented Phil LaMarr is.
I was having my Chinatown moment.
Yeah, it was
I'm your father. I'm your son.
It was Randy and Robbie.
Yeah.
Robbie Robertson.
Which was, I mean, I couldn't read any of those scripts without having that John Romita, vision of Robbie Robertson flashing through my head, because that's what I grew up on.
Yeah. So that's where it all came into. That's why also I think Stan Lee loved that show. It was the truest form of what we read as kids. You know? And they were going to do more. Anyways, they didn't get to. Okay. But then Futurama, as we talked about. I mean, It's just...
And that was interesting because that was basically a harbinger for what has now become, standard. Like, if people love a show, you bring it back after it's canceled. Yeah. Prior to then, it's like, no, once something's canceled, it's dead.
Yeah.
They take magnets and erase the tapes. It's gone.
You can't find it anymore. Yeah. Unless somebody taped it and it's on a VCR thing on YouTube.
Right. But now, the idea that a show that anybody likes would go away is absurd.
Yeah.
It's like, no, put
Young
it up.
Justice is coming back, and you were on Young Justice with us. Yeah. But Static Shock.
Yeah.
I got to do a couple episodes. I played a bad guy in there. Kind of a David Spade kind of bad guy. But I loved watching you play on that.
That was fun. That was, I think, my first lead on a show.
Really?
And it's a different thing. I mean, you know from this, it's different when it's your house.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. And people coming in are guests on the show that you're regular. It's like, this is what we do. It's like, oh yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about the pages. You know the ins and outs.
Exactly right. Exactly right. You're giving them all that. No, it's always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was at the old WB.
Yeah, when they were in the Galleria.
Place. Yeah, that was fun. It was kind of just goofy and fun. You're in this shopping mall is where we did. There was the WB was there.
I know.
You'd walk and park in the regular mall parking, and
it's like, should I go get a slice of pizza or should I go do my job?
Family Guy.
Right.
Pretty regular on Family Guy.
Which was weird because I actually worked for Seth MacFarlane and Butch Hartman.
Oh,
before Family Guy, when they were
they were Seth and Butch.
Yes. Yeah. They did this little thing called Zoomates for Nickelodeon.
Oh, wow.
Years and years ago. And then later, I did a little pilot presentation that Seth was putting together to sell Family Guy to Fox.
Wow.
So yeah, Alex Borstein and I just recorded a little 15-minute version of that first episode, and he wrote us a check out of his own personal checkbook.
That checkbook.
I like access to that checkbook now.
As good as. Well, that funny thing is I was doing promos for Fox, so I'm the Family Guy next on Fox. But before Family Guy was really there, I was doing, and then I remember when it came out and they were talking about, there's this new show, we're going to put it out.
Right.
So I did the first promos for it and stuff. Interesting. But you and Alex then leads me to MADtv.
Yeah.
So I say we're kind of flip-flopping here between voice and on camera. How many years on MADtv?
I did the first 5.
Wow.
And it was actually sort of after the fact, I realized that is what I actually credit with my voiceover career.
Yeah, because it allowed people to go, oh, he can do this, he can do.
Well, and also because, one, the skills of doing multiple characters,
right,
obviously, correlate to what we do, as working voice actors. Yeah. They get 3 for $1. They want all 3.
Yeah.
But also, we did these claymation pieces.
Right.
The first few seasons on MADtv, and that's where I really got in my mic time. Because it's absolutely essential to being good at this is getting time on a mic, figuring out your relationship to this thing.
The dance with it, which we'll do here in a bit. We'll get in the studio and get on the mics and do a scene. But yeah, it is such a dance, and it does take time to learn that and to know that and to be comfortable with it. Yeah. Probably be comfortable with it more than anything.
Right.
People always ask us, what is it, voice actor, be comfortable on a microphone.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we're telling you. The rest, figure out on your own. Everybody wants to do it now, too.
I know.
So, stand-up comedy, did you do stand-up?
I never did stand-up. I did improv.
Yeah.
But yeah, stand-up.
Because I started as a stand-up when I was 16.
Wow.
And that was in the 80s, because I'm an old man. And everybody wanted to be a stand-up.
Which is
now,
incredible. So hard.
Everybody wants to be a voice actor.
Right. And I sort of think that it's because people think it's easy.
That's the problem. Yeah, and we've talked about that a bit here. And Sam Witwer brought up a great point that I've said for years. It's like, nobody really goes to an accountant and goes, I've always wanted to, or even a musician.
Right.
They'll respect a musician and go, wow, that's something I can't do. Even an on-camera actor, they'll kind of go, well, yeah, okay, but he's Johnny Depp or whatever. But voiceover, everybody seems to think,
I talk all day. Why shouldn't I get paid for it? Yeah.
Right? I do characters.
Right.
People always say I have a good voice. That's great. Can you do anything with it? No, I'm sorry. But it's become a thing.
And also, I think something that it actually took me a few years of doing this before I realized the level of difficulty. It's actually harder than you think to read words off a page without sounding like you're reading words off a page.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think that is what happens a lot of times with on-camera people when they come in to do voiceover, is because they're used to memorizing it and then being able to set it down. And
yeah, I mean, most actors memorize or rehearse, get the words into their body before they can get any emotion behind them.
Yeah.
It's like, no, here's a sheet of paper, go. Make that live.
Yeah.
You know, make that real, give that substance and emotion.
Yeah.
Because most people, when they're reading something off a page, the first thing you do is you flatten out.
Yeah, that's it, and that's the art of voice acting, really. And I people at film we got to be in, thanks to John DiMaggio, I know that voice.
Right.
We talk about that in there too, and just that I hope people would study it. But what a neat career though for you, right? I mean, is it fun still? Is it still?
Yeah. I mean, I'm still pushing the boundaries, you know, trying to do new things, you know.
Well, Pee Wee Herman, Pee Wee's Playhouse. You did, now that was a live
That was
show.
amazing. Yeah, and I got, we did it in LA, and then I got to take it to Broadway. Man. So I got
You've been on Broadway. Can I touch you? Will it rub off? It'll rub off. Okay. Someday.
And then someday I'll get to do stand-up.
Yeah. Would you want to?
I would love to have the courage and the skill to do it, because to me, stand-up is a craft. And because I have a lot of friends who do it and do it well, and it is not easy.
No, it's...
Because anybody can be funny once.
Yeah.
But to be funny again with that same material in a different context.
And to be relaxed no matter what the circumstance. That was the biggest turn for me in my stand-up, was realizing one day. I remember very, very specifically going, oh, I have to be able to do this no matter what they're doing.
Right.
And I have to enjoy it from me, and if I do, they'll relax and they'll enjoy it too.
It's so hard.
It's a tricky thing, but I always kind of recommend people should try it if they haven't. But okay, so Green Lantern. I can't not talk about Green Lantern. Were you a Green Lantern fan at all?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, just because I was Batman, I was Spider-Man, you know. Green Lantern, I of course knew because I was a big DC reader coming up, and I knew all the Green Lantern Corps and all that.
Sure.
But as far as like a character that you related to,
yeah, because he's not.
Well, and also in the comics, I mean, Hal Jordan is a fighter pilot with good hair and a girl on the side. Yeah, I got nothing. You know, when the Justice League cartoon made Jon Stewart the Green Lantern of Earth, it was obviously...
Guy from The Daily Show, right?
Exactly. Yeah, with the
it was a big deal. I mean, I'm a Green Lantern fan, so that was like, that was a big deal.
It was really strange, because I think at the time, in the comics, Kyle Rayner was the Green Lantern.
Right.
And it's funny because I asked Bruce Timm about it at the time. It's like, why? He's like, well, you know, basically I didn't want to do a show where 7 white people save the world every week.
First off, that's a great Bruce, by the way. If you don't know Bruce Timm, that was spot on.
And it was like, what? So and this is back before diversity and representation were buzzwords.
Sure.
It's just his view of the world and the way he thought.
That's great. You know? Yeah, and it made a difference. And
so it made such a huge difference.
Did you enjoy playing Green Lantern then?
Yes.
And you still do from time to time.
Yeah, I got to do it for the Injustice 2 game. Yeah. But what's interesting is being Jon Stewart as opposed to Hal Jordan, I think actually gave them more leeway writing-wise.
Yeah.
You know, like they were able to create that romance between him and Hawkgirl.
Right.
Which they couldn't do with, you know, Batman or Superman. You can't create anything new with those characters. No. And it's funny because I think Marvel either consciously or unconsciously stumbled into that by starting their universe with Iron Man.
Oh, yeah.
As opposed to Captain America or Spider-Man. Well, granted, they sold off all of their A-list characters.
Yeah, they had to. Then they had to kind of get
But when you start with somebody who's
That's a great point.
B-list, you don't have people, because like with Batman, Superman, people who have never picked up a comic book will tell you, that's not what Superman would do.
Yeah, that's so true.
That's he's wrong.
Yeah.
Iron Man? Is the iron right? That's fine, I guess. He could have a goatee.
Wow, that's a great point.
You know? Nobody had an issue with Robert Downey Jr. making Iron Man like sort of snarky. Iron Man had never been snarky before.
Selling guns to the military.
Well, that he'd always done.
Yeah, but in that way, you know what I mean? Like, because he'd always done it, but it was a different world then too.
Yeah.
He put the spin on it of now. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Wow. Okay, but new things? Is there? I mean, I ask people a lot. Like, is there anything we can talk about because of NDAs? But there is some stuff that you can maybe talk about.
Yeah. I'm actually writing and producing my own animated series.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's my buddy Matt King and I are adapting a webcomic that my friend Terrell Hunt has been doing. And it's set in like, the RPG Dungeons and Dragons type of world.
Oh, perfect.
It's called Goblins.
Goblins.
And Terrell's been doing this webcomic for about 10 years.
Okay.
And it's basically the premise is, what if the goblins, the little low-level monsters that you just hack through to get some treasure, decided, hey, we're tired of getting our butts kicked. Why don't we become an adventuring party and go get some treasure and weapons and experience?
That's brilliant.
So it's like an adventuring party made up of goblins.
Oh man, I love it.
And we've taken his first story arc and we've turned it into 10 episodes. And it's such this really great, funny, unique, but sort of heartfelt storyline that we felt like there's nothing like it on TV. So we're not going to take it to TV. We're going to Kickstarter it.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay, so when does this start? Has this campaign, this is your time. You give us whatever you need.
Check out Goblins Animated on Facebook and Instagram.
Instagram, okay.
The idea is we're going to get fans of the webcomic, fans of ours, to help us make it the way we want to make it without having to. It's like, well, what if the goblins are cute? Or what if the goblins cuss? We're going to be able to stay in our realm and build this world that Terrell's created and bring it to life. And if we raise enough money, we'll be able to hire our friends to do voices if they're available.
Well, I'm sure Jim Cummings will be happy to go. No, well, that's fantastic. But I don't know if people really realize how much gets changed when a network or a corporation come in and you want to keep it true to the form. And if people have been watching this for 10 years, I'm sure many people watching already know this.
Yeah, and he's built such great characters and such a great world that you really don't. We feel like it'll be better to be able to show them. Yeah. It's like, no, this is what it is. Don't let you try to tell us what it is.
Right.
Because executives will do that.
They have a tendency, strangely enough. Wow, okay, so we should be looking for it online.
Yeah, it's Goblins Animated.
Goblins Animated, but the Kickstarter.
Goblinsanimated.com and on Instagram.
So please, everybody, really consider taking that time. Now I'm like a PBS thing.
Right.
Take the time to go in and hit that subscribe button. No, but really contribute to it, because that's what makes this world so cool right now. Within the world that we live in, taking advantage of that. That's why I like this YouTube and everything, that we can do this stuff.
Yeah.
So please support Phil's project. That's fantastic, man.
Yeah, it's been amazing to see the other side of animation after working in it for so long.
Yeah.
You produce, so you see how complex it is and how hard it is. Acting is easy.
You can get caught up in every little nuance and fixing.
Yeah, and that's why what you're doing here is so impressive.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun stuff. I really appreciate it, but thank you. I cannot not talk to you about one of my favorites and one of probably everybody watching this favorite, Samurai Jack.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and then you just got a new...
Yes, we just did 14 years later, a final season.
Wow.
And that was... It's funny because obviously being part of the Star Wars universe has resonance just because we grew up with it. It matters deep in our bones.
Sure.
That was a show that resonated for me, even though it was new. I had no history with it, but it was just like, this show is doing things with animation, with storytelling that no other show was doing.
Yeah.
So it was always a joy to be a part of. Did you ever come in?
I wasn't on that. I worked with Gendy on the original Clone Wars.
Yes, the
micro series.
The micro series, which is what brought me back to the Star Wars universe.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it was so brilliant, and it doesn't get enough credit, and it should be more prominent in things.
But you got a chance to see what he does with visual storytelling.
Yeah, it's amazing.
We
go in and voice 3 lines.
Exactly. I joked when we were doing the press for the new season of Samurai Jack that it's the easiest job in animation. I got 4 lines. But that's what it is with Gendy. I mean, the spoken words, the sounds, the colors, everything is working together to tell the story.
The texture of his stuff is so unique and it's wonderful. Yeah, that was, I mean, well, Kit Fisto has some wonderful moments in the micro series there too. Yeah,
so funny.
It is great. So yeah, well, I would be remiss also if I didn't mention Pulp Fiction.
Right.
And you're Marvin. I mean, I shot Marvin in the face. How often do people say, you know, that?
Every once in a while.
Yeah.
It's usually when there's another Tarantino movie coming out and they run it a lot on cable.
And then it shows up. Pretty wild stuff being involved in.
I've been really, really fortunate.
Yeah.
To, you know, I mean, you know how it is, like to get to touch one sort of like cultural milestone. And I've been lucky enough to like, you know, get a little dust from a couple.
Off on,
you know?
It's pretty wild. Well, I was thinking, because this is Clone Wars Conversations and we end the shows doing something in our voices, in the characters' voices.
Okay.
You know, to give everybody just one last chance to see, you know, Obi-Wan or Plo Koon reacting with Kit Fisto or Bail Organa or somebody. So how about if we recreate, as homage to you, the scene that Marvin is in Pulp Fiction. This is going off our usual Shakespeare, and we do like, you know, a recreation of that scene.
Okay.
Bail Organa?
Sure.
And Obi-Wan? And maybe Plo Koon will have a little something in there too.
All right.
All right, for you now, enjoy this special bonus feature on Clone Wars Conversations.
Hey kids, how are you boys doing? Do you know who we are? We are associates of your business partner, Count Dooku. You remember your business partner, don't you? Now I'm going to take a wild guess here. You're Brett, right?
Obi-Wan, Brett, yes, whichever works.
I thought so. Well, you remember your business partner, Count Dooku, don't you, Obi-Wan?
Yes, certainly.
Do you mind if I call you Ben?
It's fine.
Good for you. Now, it looks like me and Vincent caught you at breakfast, Ben. Sorry about that. What you eating?
Hamburgers.
Hamburgers. The cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast. What kind of hamburgers?
They're cheese bantha burgers, but...
No, I mean, where did you get them? McDonald's, Wendy's, Tatooine, Coruscant, where?
Oh, yeah, no, Big Kahuna Burger.
Big Kahuna Burger. That's that Notalon burger joint. Now, I heard they got some tasty burgers. I never had one myself. How are they?
They're good?
You mind if I try one of yours?
No.
Yours is this one, right?
Yes.
Now that is a tasty burger. Vince, you ever try a Big Kahuna burger?
No,
You want a bite? They're very good.
I ain't hungry.
Well, if you like hamburgers, give them a try sometime. Me, I can't usually eat them because my daughter Leia's a vegetarian, which more or less makes me a vegetarian, but I sure love the taste of a good burger. Hey, Ben, you know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in Naboo?
No.
Tell him, Vincent.
Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese. You know why they call it that?
Perhaps because of the midichlorians.
Check out the big brain on Ben. You're a smart one, that's right. The midichlorians. What's in this?
Blue milk.
Blue milk, good. Mind if I have some of your tasty beverage to wash this down with?
Certainly.
It's the spot.
And perhaps we should stop there before we
Right, because
go
after
any
this,
further.
it gets dark.
The rest of the script gets a little dark. Yes, that was fantastic. Thank you, Phil. That was so great. That is awesome. Well, that concludes my two-part interview with the wonderfully talented and voice legend Phil LaMarr. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed all these episodes of Clone Wars Conversations. The one thing you can do to really show me that is subscribe to the JAT channel, spread the word, and tell everybody you can that this is a cool place to learn about Clone Wars, voiceover, and so much more. I also want to thank Mountain Valley Water for being the official water of the JAT channel. Hope you give it a shot. I've been enjoying it for 12 years, and I'm glad to have them here at the JAT channel. And I hope to see you back here for another episode of Clone Wars Conversations.
You, me, go!